You can't just tell people to begin. Come on.
Have you always seen yourself as someone who would practice law compared to someone who would go into research, teaching?
Well, no, actually. To begin with, I never thought until very recently that I would even study law.
Okay, until very recently, like post junior college.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
what was it before?
Um,
Engineering.
yes.
Very nice. So
Yes.
were you a science kid?
Yes. Through and through.
PCME.
Yes.
Okay, so it was always gonna be engineering
Yes.
until something happened in your life.
Yes.
So what happened in your life?
I picked up a law book. It was a book on the philosophy of law.
Okay.
Specifically, it's the morality
Was it a
of
gift
law.
or
No, no.
you walked in the bookstore and it called out to you?
It didn't call out to me.
Okay.
I picked it up because it looked interesting. And I read that book. Still don't know how I got through it, but I did.
Yeah, so when you were applying to go to law school after junior college and all, did you consider other schools?
Oh yes, of course I did. When you apply to on UCAS, you get five choices.
Five choices.
Yeah. So one was Oxford. I considered. I applied to the other schools. Let me think. London schools, UCL, LSE. Not sure if I applied to King's. I applied to Durham
Okay.
as well. I think that was.
I did not hear Cambridge.
Well, firstly,
Okay.
you can't apply to both Oxford and Cambridge in the same UCAS application.
Oh, okay.
At least
Okay.
back in my day, you could. I don't know about now. The other thing was, to be perfectly honest, Cambridge was a lot more difficult to apply to because they needed a portfolio. At least the college I was looking at, and I didn't
So
have a
technically,
portfolio
the application
because
was more troublesome.
it was because it was actually impossible for me because they asked for a portfolio
Of what? Of your paintings?
of sort of no, not paintings of like written work, marked written work, and I hadn't done very much work in junior college.
Yes. And then army sucked up all your time.
No, and the thing is, it wouldn't have been marked even if I had written things in the army,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
So it really was junior college, and I hadn't done very much work in junior college. So that
So also
quite,
it was obvious choice.
it wasn't a choice as such. It was a lack of choice.
Lack of choice.
Yes.
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 Okay, so what would you say to someone, a JC2 kid who is considering law school, and first and foremost is considering whether to stay locally or to go overseas?
I think it's important to remember from the outset that it's a very different kettle of fish. So don't think, or at least don't assume, that one is necessarily better than the other, and definitely don't assume that an overseas education is definitely better, at least not in terms of the education in and of itself. I think that an overseas experience is valuable because of the things you learn outside of the classroom, like learning to live by yourself. Well, not necessarily by yourself, but without the presence of parents. Or maid or butler,
Managing their independence,
or valet
right.
or nanny or
Okay.
other household support staff. But the thing is, this is, it's not quite as simple as me saying go overseas or don't go overseas, because it depends on really a large number of factors, including financing. So obviously, you could, if you're fortunate enough, go on your own dough, or you could apply for a scholarship, in which case you have to consider whether or not you're willing to be bonded for whichever
6
number of
years.
years is stipulated. I think it's 6 these days.
6, yes.
Yeah. So these are all factors that you have to consider, and you can't look to some random person sitting on the internet to tell you how you should make that decision. You've got to, and I think if you can't make a decision like that yourself, you've no place in law school. You need to think for yourself in your
Yes.
best interests,
Yes.
and then hopefully one day you can think in your client's best interests.
Very nice. Would you say that the study of law in school adequately prepared you for what you're doing now, the real working world?
Yes and no, I suppose, because having studied in another jurisdiction, you do learn a different, slightly different body of law, but then again, I think it has because I think that the law degree is rather unlike the majority of other degrees. So, for example, if you were to study, let's say, engineering or physics or I suppose literature, or what you're learning really is a body of substantive knowledge. That's no bad thing. With a law degree, you do learn about substantive principles and provisions in law as well. But I think the main point of a law degree is that it teaches you to think in a certain way and to deal with material in a certain way. And that's very important because fundamentally in law, both in practice and in study, you transact in arguments. And it's very important to be able to look at anything that's put before you in a very systematic and precise way. And to the extent that a law degree teaches you to do that and trains you to do that, then it is, in fact, very transferable to the practice of law. Therefore, it has, in that sense, prepared me for my current.
So you're a big time lawyer now.
No.
Soon to be.
No.
Someday.
Perhaps.
Perhaps, yes. But how are you enjoying work? How's work like?
A lot. As one might expect in this industry, hours are not short. But I suppose if you walk in with eyes open, you can't really complain about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So which field of law are you doing, or is there going to be a specialization?
Well, my personal interest and to a large extent the department that I'm with does work in competition law. And
Okay, like antitrust.
in some jurisdictions, yes, it's called antitrust. So we're concerned with the markets and we deal with certain forms of market failure.
Ah,
Yes.
okay. Do you feel that because you study overseas, do you feel a sense of alienation from this local legal fraternity,
Legal fraternity.
which is a reason that a lot of people use, to stay in NUS
No,
or SMU?
I really don't think so. I mean, obviously, if you studied in a local university, you would know more people in the legal industry that you end up working with, right? But it's not alienation. I mean,
Okay.
you get to know the people you work with after a while, and that's normal. You don't expect to walk in with a preloaded database of people in your head.
Okay, so that the loss of networking with the local people is not it's not a concern, right?
I mean, I suppose you do start out slightly on the back foot for knowing from the outset fewer people, but I mean, what's so difficult about getting to know the people you work with? Any decent person would do. Yeah.
In terms of food, because you seem to be a big foodie,
Yeah,
right?
as you
Okay,
might be able
and you
to tell.
cook.
Yes.
Yes. Which is your favorite British dessert?
Dessert.
Yes.
Oh God.
Or tea time snack?
Dessert. I suppose.
What about scones? I mean, like, do you have good scones?
Of course.
Oh,
It's
great.
a land of scones. What are you
Okay.
talking about?
Did you like scones?
Of course I did.
Okay, so is there a place would you recommend for great scones in
Anywhere.
Oxford?
Really. Oh, in Oxford.
Yes.
Most places do quite good scones.
I am a Moscato girl. I love sweet wines, sweet desserts, pink Moscato. So did you, I don't know, like, spread a mat on a field somewhere and think about life, think about what you're gonna do 2 years from now when you graduate.
I didn't like maths. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have. So
Can we talk about something less frivolous?
I love this. I love this.
I don't.
I have one thing to ask you. I mean, this is again regarding.
Aside from the 52 other questions that you've already asked.
Of
me.
course, no.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yes.
code do you use?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, a nice Burberry trench coat because you
No.
were there and
No.
I have a little game I want to play with you. It's called Open Court.
I would not like to play a game of any
this is
sort.
just Open Court is just to see. Okay, so I have 4 questions. Yeah, so this is the scenario is in open court, so you can be defending someone. Yeah, and you just need to respond to what I say, and I am of course the judge. Yes,
Are you?
I am of course.
Are
I'm
you
Judge Judy.
really?
Judge Judy. Okay, so first, counselor, sit your ass back down or I'll hold you in contempt.
I'm seated, Your Honor.
Oh, very nice. Okay, sorry, counselor. My fault. Next one, counselor, what is this submission? I can't read your handwriting.
Would you like a typewritten copy, Your Honor?
I would. Counselor, my chambers tonight.
Perhaps office hours would suit Your Honor better.
That works too.
I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
I am very interested in this.
I'm not. Let's move on.
Okay, thanks, Simon, so much for having this interview with us.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a pleasure.